Question 1, Ruth Maguire.
To ask the Scottish Government what action it will take in light of NSPCC highlighting Police Scotland data showing that recorded sexual offences against children have increased by 30% in the last 5 years.
Cabinet Secretary.
Child sexual abuse is an abhorrent crime. To tackle it, we require a coordinated, multi-agency trauma-informed response, in particular to address the devastating impact it has on survivors and victims. We have, over the last 4 years, focused enormous effort in tackling child sexual exploitation through our National Action Plan, and we're building on this work by ensuring child abuse is a key focus in work being undertaken across health, justice, equality and human rights. We've strengthened legislation, we've increased funding to make it easier for victims and survivors to come forward and speak out against abusers. We continue our significant funding commitments to third sector partners such as NSPCC, Bernardo Scotland, Stop It Now Scotland, as well as funding support programmes of work such as Equally Safe and the Child Protection Improvement Programme to strengthen our response to child abuse.
Ruth Maguire.
Some of the spike in sexual offences will be online child sexual abuse. Given that some of the measures put in place to deal with the pandemic potentially increased children's vulnerability online, does the Justice Secretary agree with me that there should be no further delay to Scottish Government child protection guidance so that all those working with children and families to prevent and address abuse have the best possible tools available to them?
Cabinet Secretary.
I do agree. It's a very important point that Ruth Maguire raises. She'll be aware of multiple campaigns during lockdown, specifically targeting this particular area. Some from Police Scotland, others from the Scottish Government and from third sector partners. We know that young people inevitably had to spend more time online for learning, socialising over the last few months, but there's a recognition that with that comes increased risks. She's right, we paused the consultation on the revised national guidance for child protection at the beginning of lockdown in acknowledgement of the additional pressures. And we recognise the value of robust guidance to support those working with children and families during the pandemic. And we've worked closely with representatives of the children's sector throughout. But I take exactly what she says on board, and I'm more than happy to update her in relation to that guidance. But it's a point that I agree with wholeheartedly.